Once again, we're glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Martina Abera. Let us begin by informing you that this afternoon at Urugwiro Village, President Paul Kagame received graduate students and fellows from the Harvard Kennedy School, various Harvard University schools, as well as the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at the Tufts University, who are concluding their week-long Harvard Rwanda Trek 2026. During the exchange, President Paul Kagame highlighted Rwanda's transformation over the past 32 years with a focus on efficient and accountable governance, institution building, investing in the next generation, and advancing self-reliance. Moving ahead, the Central Bank of Rwanda has affirmed that Rwanda's economy posted strong growth in 2025, but global shocks, particularly rising energy prices linked to tensions in the Middle East, are casting uncertainty over the outlook. This was revealed in its latest monetary policy and financial stability statement released earlier today. We have more coming from William Evans Mutabazi.
We meet at a time when the global economic environment is marked by elevated uncertainties.
According to the statement, Rwanda's economy is showing strong momentum, but the big question now is how long it can withstand global pressures. The central bank says, while growth remains solid, external risks, especially rising fuel prices, could test that resilience in 2026.
The global economic environment today faces increased uncertainties due to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The conflict has triggered sharp increases in global oil prices and poses significant risks to Rwanda's inflation and external trade.
Rwanda's economy grew by 9.4% in 2025, driven by mainly services such as trade, transport, finance, and ICT. Industry and agriculture also performed strongly, supported by construction, mining, and export crops like coffee.
Rwanda's economy maintains strong momentum with real GDP growth reaching 9.4% in 2025, and this is a very strong performance, surpassing the NST2 annual GDP growth target of 9.3%. The high GDP growth was broad-based across all major sectors, starting with the industry that grew by 11%, services sector expanding by 8.5%, and then agriculture by 7.4%. The services sector remained strong, supported mainly by trade and transport, ICT, financial services, as well as scientific and technical services. The industry sector growth was led by strong performance in the mining, manufacturing, and construction, and mining expanding on the back of higher export volumes and favorable global commodity prices.
Rwanda's financial sector, however, remains one of the strongest pillars of the economy. Total financial sector assets grew by nearly 24%, reaching 15.9 trillion Rwandan francs.
In 2025, total financial sector assets increased by close to 24%, reaching 15.9 trillion Rwandan francs in December 2025. This steady growth was on the back of deposit growth, higher pension contributions, and improved investment income across all subsectors. Asset growth was recorded across the banking sector, increasing by 22.7%. Insurance sector assets grew by 14.3%, while assets of the pension funds grew by 35.3%.
Looking ahead, Rwanda's economy is projected to grow by 7.2% in 2026, but with global uncertainty rising and risks from energy prices and weather conditions looming, the central bank says it stands ready to act to keep inflation in check and safeguard economic stability.
Given the elevated uncertainties but also volatile global markets, the central bank will continue to monitor inflation developments closely. We stand ready through the Monetary Policy Committee to take appropriate measures to safeguard price stability while we continue to engage government stakeholders for policy measures aimed at bringing back inflation within our medium-term target of 5%.
As Rwanda sustains strong economic growth, the real test now lies in navigating external shocks from global energy markets to climate-related risks. As global pressures build, how Rwanda manages this balance could define its economic path in the next months ahead. William Evans, RwandaTV News.
Moving ahead, the United Kingdom has responded to Rwanda's complaint, accusing it of breaching an agreement on refugees and migrants, rejecting the allegations and maintaining that it had no further financial obligations after terminating the deal. We have more coming from Adam Squizera.
On Thursday morning, proceedings continued at the Permanent Court of Arbitration, where the United Kingdom was scheduled to present its submissions regarding the allies' failure to implement the migration deal with Rwanda. United Kingdom denied breaching the terms of the agreement signed in April 2022. Rwanda, which presented on Wednesday, argued that it learned the suspension of the deal through media reports rather than through formal diplomatic channels. The UK stated that the following general elections in July 2024, the new government, in line with its political commitments, decided to discontinue the Rwanda migration scheme and informed Rwanda of its intention to terminate the agreement. Rwanda, however, maintains that a change in political leadership in the UK does not nullify legally binding obligations under the agreement, especially given the implementation preparations were already at an advanced stage. While both parties generally agree on the core structure of the agreement, they differ on the legal status of certain provisions following its suspension. In its submissions, the United Kingdom acknowledged the existence of the agreement, including its financial components, but argued that it had no obligation to make further payments beyond £270 million already disbursed at different stages. Rwanda, on the other hand, contends that under exchange of notes signed in June 2024, the UK committed to pay £50 million in April 2025 and another £50 million in April 2026 through the Economic Transformation and Integration Fund, ETIF. Rwanda argues that these obligations were never lawfully terminated and that the UK breached the financial terms by failing to honor them. The hearings are set to continue on Friday, with both sides expected to provide detailed documents on each issue and respond to each other's claims. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
The Ministry of Health has announced intensified efforts to improve healthcare service delivery, including renovating and upgrading health facilities, as well as increasing the availability of essential medicines for patients. A 2024-2025 report by the Rwanda Governance Board highlights persistent challenges in service delivery across several health centers and hospitals, including Ngarama, Murunda, Nyamata, and Mibirizi, among others. The Minister of Health, Dr. Sabin Sanzimana, told members of the Parliament Committee on Governance, Gender Equality and Women Empowerment that these issues stem from multiple factors, including shortages of healthcare professionals, aging infrastructure, and other systemic constraints. He noted that concrete measures are already underway to address these challenges. The report also points to frequent shortages of medicines in public health facility pharmacies, forcing patients to purchase them from private outlets at higher costs. In response, the minister explained that the government is strengthening national medical supply systems and that the cost of imported medicines has decreased. Members of Parliament expressed satisfaction with the explanations provided, including updates on plans to increase the number of ambulances and the use of technology to monitor the health status of the population. Both the Ministry of Health and the Parliamentary Committee urged drivers, especially in urban areas, to give priority to ambulances. An internal assessment by the ministry revealed that over 80% of ambulances experience delays due to traffic congestion, despite often transporting critically ill patients. Moving ahead, the Minister of National Unity and Civic Engagement, Dr. Jean Damascene Bizimana, announced that this month Rwanda will submit nomination files for Imigongo, a traditional Rwandan art form for inclusion on the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage List. The announcement has been warmly welcomed by cultural artisans who say that Imigongo increases the value of traditional crafts. Artisans in Kigali noted that imigongo designs are often incorporated into decorative items to enhance their appeal, making them more attractive to buyers. During a discussion with the Parliamentary Committee on Education, Technology, Culture, Sports and Youth, Minister Dr. Bizimana outlined Rwanda's plan to register imigongo as part of the country's intangible cultural heritage. The committee was viewing the implementation of the National Cultural Heritage Policy of February 2015. Members of the parliament suggested ways to strengthen the promotion of imigongo. Ambassador Robert Masozera, Director General of the Rwanda Cultural Heritage Academy, noted that books continue to be published in multiple languages to help people better understand imigongo. Between January 2024 and November 2025, Rwanda conducted its first nationwide census of intangible cultural heritage, aiming to document and preserve it comprehensively. Representatives of political parties forming the National Forum for Political Parties Consultations have emphasized the need for collaboration from citizens, government institutions, and the private sector to find sustainable solutions to challenges affecting Rwandans' families and the development. The political party representatives received a briefing from Mihai Batamuriza, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion, which focused on strategies for family protection, highlighting both achievements and ongoing challenges. Despite progress, a 2025 study by the Rwanda Governance Board on men's and women's perspectives of family life revealed that 17.8% of family-related problems are caused by conflicts and related issues. Some members of the forum noted that the rise in teenage pregnancies continues to pose a threat to families, compounded by insufficient education for couples preparing for marriage. Other challenges affecting Rwandan families include a lack of understanding of the principle of gender equality, reported at 75.9%. Yet, this principle should form the foundation for family development. The Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion also indicated that some individuals exploit misconceptions about gender equality to abuse others. The 2025 RGB study also found that 74.7% of Rwandans are satisfied with family support services, including 76.3% of men and 73.3% of women. Experts in the operations of financial institutions and banking systems believe that it is necessary for these institutions to start using artificial intelligence technology, as it would enable them to provide better services. Inora Gladys has a detailed report.
During discussions that brought together professionals from financial institutions, including banks and other payment service providers, participants noted that the use of artificial intelligence in banking could help address several challenges.
I believe that AI is going to improve many services in banking sectors, financial institutions, such as processes that we currently making or processing manually. We're going to make sure that these processes are enhanced, and hence we are providing the better service to our customers. It is also helping on improving the experience with our customers by bringing new innovation products, understanding the pain point from the customer perspective and how to resolve the pain points by providing or releasing solutions that will suit the customers.
When it comes to AI, it's more about enhancement of customer journeys, product development, and also to say that we're going to improve and customize products to each individual's preference, because at the end of the day, currently we're doing all the products in a generic manner. But with AI, we are going to be able to customize individually or even in a group to ensure that you get the best service and product that is more appropriate to you, based on your preference again.
The CEO of Irembo, that provides various services through technology, Israel Bime, explains that artificial intelligence will solve many of the commonly encountered challenges.
Tembo does provide services, but many of our services also have payments component about it, and we have a dedicated payment service, payment gateway that we use. And so in building technology and in making sure that it works, in making sure that you provide a great service, you prevent fraud, and you make sure that the technology continuously deliver on its promise and on its value, it's important to integrate novel technologies like artificial intelligence. And really the idea is, how do you use artificial intelligence to improve quality of service, to improve service delivery, but also to prevent fraud, to protect systems from cyber attacks, and to protect personal and private information as well, all to ensure that you are able to continuously sustain a good quality and good standards of service delivery in payments, in banking, and in every other service that's affiliated to payments or banking in general.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Rwanda Bankers Association, Tony Francis Nhore, explains that financial institutions should not lag behind in adopting artificial intelligence in order to deliver more efficient services.
Want first to support our members, and we do know that AI, artificial intelligence, has taken now a big space in all activities that we do, and we don't want to be left behind. And also we want to support banks in the governance when it comes to the governance of AI. Many people say that, oh, AI may replace the staffing or the people, but it's not true. We need to accompany the staffing with AI. That's why now our intervention becomes crucial in a sense that once we do right governance on the policy of AI to support banks, then will be a solution, results to support our members.
The Chief Executive Officer of Digital Jewels Africa, Adedoyin Odumfa, noted that artificial intelligence in banking is expected to bring many benefits, including innovations in their operations.
AI in banking will create a lot of innovation. We expect new products, we expect more intelligence, we expect ease of use and convenience. At the same time, if we don't take the precautions, there will be more breaches. So we expect that AI will also be used in strengthening cybersecurity defenses to ensure that there is no trust gap. One is skills, just ensuring that everybody, all the key officers have the knowledge that they need to use AI effectively. Another one is cost. Sometimes it can be costly. The other one is just understanding the impacts of AI and using it consistently. Some of the key challenges. The tools also, because a lot of the tools are not locally available, so getting the right combination of tools whilst also ensuring data protection.
The Director General for Innovation and Emerging Technologies at the Ministry of ICT and Innovation, Esther Kunda, emphasized that artificial intelligence will not replace people in their jobs and that it is important to use it in financial institutions.
Technology, and especially AI, as different sectors are adopting it and it's becoming prominent in what sectors are using that. Financial sector is becoming one sector where it's being used in a lot of things. Fraud detection, in cybersecurity, in other areas such as the solutions and the solution that they're providing to their clients, and in various other ways. And that today really increases some of the risk that the financial sector already faces. And I think what is very, very important is to think about what are the strategies that banks and other financial institutions are using internally. One, to adopt that transformation that AI is bringing in, but also to re-strategize around their cybersecurity and threat level and assess those risks and also address them. So I think
the use of technology in financial institutions in Rwanda has increased the number of people accessing these services to between 92 and 95%, and this figure could rise further if artificial intelligence begins to be adopted.
The Capital Market Authority reports that over the past 15 years, more than 2.7 trillion Rwandan francs has been invested in businesses and national development projects. William Evans with more.
This was highlighted on Thursday as the capital market convened investors and entrepreneurs seeking financing to expand their operations. The event brought together entrepreneurs in need of capital and investors looking for viable and profitable investment opportunities.
We are going to be able to actually have access to funds. When we have access to funds, now we have a way to actually easily do our projects. The pilot, the research you want to do, boosting the milk yielding, the productivity of cows, the productivity of farming, everything now will become easier. Because going to pitch in different funders that do not understand the science sector, it's very hard. But an organization like this that has made it easier for us to access funds makes it much easier for us to actually bring impactful solutions in the ecosystem. And we aim to use the same funds to boost the milk yielding, boost the milk productivity. We want farmers to have breeding strategies, to have informed decisions based on the health of their animals.
We want to be one of the very first to be listed. Listing has enormous advantages. One, you get known. Two, you get legitimacy of what you're doing. But three, you also get the capital. Especially for software companies, we focus on building the software without focusing on building the company. So being able to build both at the same rate gives us the best chance of growing. We need the capital to scale, but we also need the legitimacy to be able to approach bigger companies. See enormous chances. They've talked about the investment clinic, which is made for companies like us, who may not know about the legal side of things, the compliance side of things. So being able to get that help from people who have done it before, but also the experts, helps us to be at the best chance to get investments.
A study conducted by the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Minicom, revealed that 70% of small and medium-sized enterprises do not survive beyond the first 2 years. Furthermore, more than 53,000 businesses closed between 2023 and 2024 due to insufficient working capital. Letitia Teta Nzungize, an associate at Trinity Lawyers, emphasizes that Rwandan SMEs should take advantage of the Rwanda Stock Exchange Investment Clinic, a program designed to provide advisory services as well as training in financial reporting and governance to make companies investor-ready.
Usually SMEs, the issues they have in corporate governance is not having the adequate structures for them to be investor ready. So we help them to make sure that they have the proper board structure so that they can be adequately prepared, for them to have the right policies, to make sure that they're regulatory compliant in everything that their sector requires. Our role is, first of all, to tell them what they're lacking, the gaps that they have, and then second of all, to educate them. Because as you said, when they're still at that infant stages and they get a lot of money, they can be overwhelmed. So for us to make sure that they don't get choked by the opportunities that arise when you have increased capital, we help them ensure that they know all of the legal requirements that they have even as they're growing. So that's the best I can tell you, because again, every company is different, every sector is different, so the legal requirements depend on the specific company and their specific needs.
The Chief Executive Officer of Rwanda Stock Exchange, Pierre Celestin Rwabkumba, noted that connecting investors and businesses in need of funding helps streamline and accelerate access to capital.
You know, people who are borrowing from the banking sector, the bank money is more expensive than the capital market money, because the capital market money, we call it patient capital. You are getting money from people who are not looking to get it tomorrow from you. So when someone buys shares in your company, you are together forever, right? Until they want to sell maybe, but they have given you the money to run the business. If it's a bond or a corporate bond they are issuing in the market, investors buy it. They buy the bonds to lend you money for long term. They are not looking for that money for tomorrow either. So what it means that, you know, you are getting money directly from the owners of the money, not intermediaries. Banks are intermediaries.
According to Minicom data, 68% of the SMEs access loans, with 46% relying on informal sources, while only 22% obtain financing from formal financial institutions. The permanent secretary at Minicom, Anton Kajangwe, noted that this Rwanda Stock Exchange initiative of linking investors with entrepreneurs is distinctive and impactful.
We believe the Rwanda Stock Exchange, through their program called the Investment Clinic, provides, I would say, advisory services and capacity building services for businesses across a number of sectors, from corporate governance to financial management, financial reporting. And so it raises the profile, the standard of our businesses. And you need to be able to comply with national, regional, international regulations and standards to be able to compete. And so this raises the profile of our businesses, and we believe that it will make our business businesses stronger and ready to compete for the future.
This matchmaking event between business and potential investors is being held for the third time and is part of the broader efforts to increase the number of private companies participating in the capital market.
A delegation of 41 students from the Harvard University, currently on a 7-day visit to Rwanda, today visited the RDF headquarters. They were received by the defense spokesperson, Brigadier General Ronald Rwivanga, on behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff. The delegation was briefed on the transformation of the RDF since 1994, its contribution to continental security, as well as Rwanda's progress in unity, reconciliation, development, and the sustainability of these achievements. And on that note, we've come to the end of tonight's English Bulletin. On behalf of the production team as well as the technical team, thank you for sticking with us here on RTV News. My name is Martina Avera, and until next time, stay safe, have a good night.